Welcome to the sunny Dominican Republic for round one of the 2009 Archery World Cup. In keeping with archery's continued penchant for the exotic venues, 2009 begins with the capital of the New World, Santo Domingo. Around 250 archers from 32 countries registered for this first round of the World Cup, one of the first sessions for the outdoor season. And regarding some of them, it's their first competition after the Olympic Games of Beijing last year. Who will win this first stage? Who will take advantage of the absence of the Chinese and Korean archers to rack up valuable World Cup points? In this year of World Championships to be held in Korea during this summer, good results in the start of the season can give a lot of self-confidence. But it's also a challenge for last year's winners like Justina Moshpanek and Dietmar Trillis, who definitely want to keep their titles. Will Santo Domingo in 2009 see the same shooters on the podium? Among the top shooters in the World Cup and the newbies, the competition is totally open. Here we go. It's another World Cup event. Santo Domingo saw the debut of a new experimental round, the mixed team match. This is a 16-arrow round pairing the top female and male archer in each category from the same country. Just like in the team round, the match has 4 ends, the archers shooting 2 arrows each for a 160-point maximum. In Santo Domingo, in the compound division, the Danish pair of Martin Damsbo and Camilla Somod won. In Recurve, it was Ilaro de Buo and Natalia Valeva, truly a dream team. Women's compound finals featured a trifecta of American archers. This is Diane Watson, the 45-year-old from Florida in the United States, against her opponent, 30-year-old Olga Bosch of Venezuela. Watson is a highly experienced competitor on the national U.S. circuit. She shoots a lot of what's known as 3D archery. She's not necessarily known as a top target archer, but here she is in the bronze medal match in her second major World Cup appearance. She was also here last year, and she is on a roll. First end, Watson taking it 29-27, 2 10s and a 9 for a very solid start for the American. Bosch shot 3 9s. Second end had Bosch shooting well with 2 10s, but also an 8. Watson was always in the gold with 2 10s. And in the third end, Watson still was in the gold with 1 9 and 2 10s. After her first 8, Bosch got better with a 9 and a 10, but Watson kept the lead, winning 115-112. The fact that this man, Rigoberto Hernandez, is in the finals of this World Cup is an indicator of the strength of compound archery in El Salvador, led by Jorge Jimenez, the famous champion. This is Peter Elzinga from Netherlands. He is one of the top compound shooters in Europe. First end between these two had a perfect end for Hernandez with 3 10s and Peter Elzinga with 2 9s and a 10. In the second end, Peter Elzinga shot perfectly with 3 10s and Hernandez shot 2 9s and a 10, so it was tied up in the second end. In the third end, Elzinga took the lead by 2 points, and that was key. That 88-86 score led to a final end, which was tied up. Total score 117-115, 2 perfect ends from Peter Elzinga, and a big win, 117 points in Santo Domingo. The women's recurve bronze medal match was an all-Team India affair, with this woman leading off, Dola Banerjee, champion of the 2006 World Cup Grand Final, against 25-year-old Reena Kumari, her teammate, who was ranked 145th in the world. Dola Banerjee shooting out, let's see, it was 2 8s and a 6 in the first end. Not exactly a very strong start. Second end, Banerjee started well with a 10, but the wind was really messing with both of these women. By the third end, Kumari had led by only 1 point because of a couple of arrows in the 8 ring. Banerjee reached the gold with 2 9s and a 10, 77-76 by the third end, and by the last end, well, as you can see here, we've got a tie, 102 all, so that means a shoot-off. Now, this is a good opportunity for someone like Reena Kumari, who essentially has nothing to lose. All she has to do is shoot a good, solid shot and put pressure on her teammate. And that does not do it. 7s don't win shoot-offs. And 9s sometimes do. So Dola Banerjee takes the win. There's more to this story than meets the eye. The unexpectedly low scores are partly a reflection of some conflict that's taken place in the Indian team over the last few years. They started out strong, but a lot of staff changes. Hopefully this will be the year for rebuilding for Team India. Talk about a quality event. This is the bronze medal match of the Recurve men's individual, and it's a dream match as it stands just as a bronze, because we've got Simon Terry that you see here, and the guy you saw a few moments ago is the Olympic champion from 2004, Marco Galeazzo. Simon Terry, the bronze medalist of the 1992 Olympic Games. Marco Galeazzo's got one of the best shots you will ever see. Simon Terry, also an extremely strong shooter. Both of these shooters shooting very well. Pair of 10s coming up. That's how it's done. That is incredible shooting, and with a single arrow to go, Simon Terry wins it. The unknown story from this match was the fact that Marco Galeazzo was so ill earlier in the week, he only shot 6 arrows in the qualifying round. For him to come back and shoot in the finals was a tremendous achievement.
It's really broad. I guess it would be Cuz, C-U-Z, because my last name is Cousins. Don't be afraid to take the chances to do what you want to do, to follow those dreams. I think that's really important. I'm my own worst idol. I think probably my personality is my best quality. If you take the time to get to know me, maybe I'm a little rough around the edges sometimes. Well, obviously archery, and I've been doing this full-time as a professional for the last 13 years. And I've been shooting archery for probably 25 or 26 years at least. The first date that I ever had with my wife, when we met, some years ago. I want to be competitive for as long as I possibly, physically and mentally, can. Shoot more, work less, and don't suck. I don't have any friends. Just you guys, right?
Now, at first glance, the compound women's gold medal match probably would have looked like youth versus experience, but in reality, that's not the case. It's just really showing how America has become a compound powerhouse. Brittany Laurenti, shown here, is 22 years old, but she's got tremendous experience going up against the veteran and the champion of the 2008 World Cup Grand Circuit, Jamie Van Natta. Gusty conditions in the venue, remember, but watch this. 10 points to start. Jamie Van Natta. And Brittany Laurenti matches it with an X, in fact. Going back and forth over the first end, it turned out that Brittany was able to get a little bit of an advantage over Jamie. Another 9. So, Jamie's situation now is to read the wind and try to continue to shoot good shots. But it seems like Brittany had no trouble reading the wind right from the start. She was shooting smoothly, putting them in the middle. Now, the truth is, in between ends, Brittany looked a little worried, but the fact of the matter is that she really dominated the match right from the beginning. Here we are into the second end, Jamie shooting another 9. And there is another 10 for Brittany. If you look at Brittany Laurenti's shot, you realize when she shoots the shot, she almost looks a little surprised that it went off, and that's precisely what's going on. Now, that bobble of an 8 would have cost her in most situations, but in this case only put her ahead by a single point instead of by the 2 or 3 points that she had. With this type of release that's used by these compound archers, when the arrow goes off, it is actually a surprise. Their job is to aim and pull. These friends and teammates at this point are looking at a situation where, it could still be anyone's match. It's only 2-point separation. However, that 8 does not help Jamie Van Natta. And Brittany puts an arrow precisely in the same place as Jamie did, and that would tend to indicate that might be weather related. A lot of gusty wind through the venue. You can even see the target face rippling a little bit from the wind. And Brittany now shoots another 8. This could be an opportunity for Jamie, but she doesn't capitalize on it fully with only shooting a 9. Brittany takes it in this stage by 2 with 1 end to go. So that means that Jamie's got hard work ahead. She has got to overcome a 2-point deficit with only 3 arrows. It is extremely rare for that to happen unless a big mistake is made, and Brittany's showing no signs of weakness here. And there is an 8 for Jamie. That just about seals her fate, putting her behind by 4 if Jamie can hold a 10, but that's a 9, so that's a 3-point differential. And a 7, I've never seen Jamie Van Natta shoot a 7 at this level of competition, particularly in a final round. It just doesn't happen. And there, pretty much, the door is closed. It's a 6-point difference in favor of Brittany, 10 points to finish the match for Jamie, but all Brittany has to do is shoot a 5 or better. Elementary. 10 points, Brittany Laurenti with a convincing win over the veteran Jamie Van Natta. Brittany's first big international win, probably not the last. 112 points and the gold medal winner, Brittany Laurenti of the United States of America.
It was really nerve-wracking, but I did put a lot of preparation into this event, so I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Yep, I've never been to a World Cup before, so I'm actually really excited that this one went so well. Actually, I can't go to the next stage because I'm a senior in college right now, so I have finals that week, so that's kind of a bummer, but I might try to go to Turkey.
The next match is the men's compound gold match, and it pits two very intense young men against each other. Very different backgrounds, but very similar mental games. Braden Galantine of the United States has been a top competitor since his junior years. He's 22 years old. He's already a world champion. This man was in the grand final last year at the World Cup where he lost to Dietmar Trillis, Patrizio Hoffer, and he is 29 years of age. He's never had a first place finish at a major international event like this one, but he has had a roll this week. He's been shooting exceptionally well, and as we start out the compound men's individual gold medal final, Patrizio shooting first. That is a solid beginning for Patrizio. And not such a solid start for Braden. If Patrizio can get on a roll early in this match and keep the pressure on Braden, he has a much better chance. If Braden gets ahead, it's going to be tough for Patrizio to try to catch up. Now, interestingly, there is no coach in the box for Patrizio, but Braden Galantine has a very powerful coach in the form of one Dave Cousins. Yes, that same Dave Cousins you just saw a few minutes ago in the interviews. Dave Cousins was coaching Braden Galantine both at this event and also at the World Indoor that Braden won in Turkey in 2007. That combination of Galantine and Cousins has also reversed a couple of times, where Dave Cousins has been coached by Braden at various events. And so they have a great friendship and a relationship that allows each of them to find their best in their shooting. Now, Braden Galantine giving up a few points with that 8. Doesn't know why. You can see that he's not quite sure what's going on. But as we mentioned earlier from the ladies' matches, we do have gusty and unpredictable winds in the venue. There are both buildings and natural waterways all around the venue, and that creates issues. This takes it to the halfway mark for Patrizio, and it's a 10, much needed, giving him a 2-point lead. So this is just what Patrizio needs to do. He needs to keep the pressure up on Braden. He needs to stay ahead in this match. He needs to find his own personal comfort zone. Now, one might ask, where is that with Patrizio Hoffer? He's a very intense young man, and he has a tendency to get upset at what other competitors are doing. You're not seeing it in the venue video that we're seeing right now. But Patrizio is getting a little upset about the fact that there's a lot of high-fiving and celebration going on after arrows between Braden and Dave. You just heard Dave, telling him what a great job he's doing, the high five right there. It turns out that was getting under Patrizio's skin, and the result, a tied score with 3 arrows to go. Patrizio starting to get upset with himself and maybe taking it out on external factors. But the reality of the situation is, if Patrizio Hoffer can get that mental aspect of the game under control, he could be unstoppable. 10 points on that right there. Here comes Braden Galantine. And now he is showing what he's made of, 10 points. This now is an opportunity for Braden.
Come on.
And there it is. There's 1 arrow remaining. And that's a 9. That is not what Patrizio needed, because it really opens the door for Braden. All he needs now is a 9 to win. And it's in. It's 9 points. Braden Galantine taking the World Cup stage, second one in the World Cup circuit in 3 years for Braden. So some excellent shooting. That was a display that, in those conditions, was really excellent. Braden Galantine of the United States with a 113-112 victory.
I realized that I was still in it and I needed to buckle down and become a fierce competitor. And at that moment, I changed my mindset to what I can do to win this. And I really turned my head around and made some good shots from that point on. And you can see that in the score. I went from shooting a 55 to a 58, which is more like me and less like the way I shot the first 6. I hope to do the same at the next few too as well. I won't be in the at the 4th World Cup. Our U.S. Nationals falls the same weekend, and that decides if we get to travel the World Cup in the future. So I will be there. But I hope to continue and be in Copenhagen for the finals.
I don't know. I don't have it. Nobody gave me. So maybe somebody gave me, but I don't know which one I have. Enjoy it yourself. I don't know. I think it's better to ask somebody about my quality. I don't know. My besides, I am very emotive. Olympic Games. My family. Now it's my family. My babies, my husband, and maybe 2nd place is shooting. I would like to finish my sport career in Olympic Games with medals. I am proud with my children, with my medals, with my results. I don't know. I think the biggest victory to make born my twins. It was hard work.
Well, this has just been a showcase event for top talent, and here we go again. This gold medal round showing off 2 of the best shooters in the world. Alison Williamson, now 37 years old, making her big international debut at the '92 Olympic Games, same as this woman, Natalia Valeva, 39 years of age, 3 kids, world champion 2 times outdoors, world champion 3 times indoors. Alison Williamson, the bronze medalist of the 2004 Olympic Games. So this promises to be one great match. And Alison showing what she's made of, starting with a 10. Natalia matches it. You'll notice the breezy conditions. You see the palm fronds moving. Now Alison dropping an arrow a little low. She glances over at her coach and teammate and realizes that she did not shoot the shot as well as she could have. Now, Alison has shot a low arrow. Natalia has followed it up with a low arrow. There is definitely something going on with the wind, but it's not affecting Natalia quite as much. Alison shooting a 9 on that shot, so her first end is 26. Big opportunity for Natalia. Could be a 2-point lead here with a 10, but ooh, what is that? 7 points. So it's a tied score. Natalia not being able to capitalize. You saw those flags in the background? That's part of the reason why. Natalia had turned out that she'd aimed off a little too far. Notice that it went high and it went right. Well, the wind was coming in from the right. Wind tends to knock your arrow down. Natalia was trying to compensate, but the wind died just as she shot. And this can really mess with your mind. When you do something to compensate for the wind and it burns you, you might not compensate on the next shot. You see what happened there with that arrow from Alison at 7 o'clock in the target. Natalia getting her stride back. Now on to the halfway mark, and Alison with a total of 51 points after 6 arrows. Not bad, but not necessarily a score you'd want up against Natalia Valeva. She will eat your lunch if you shoot a 51, except today. 52 for Natalia, so only a 1-point separation. Natalia just racking up the score a little bit at a time. That's a 62 on the board for Natalia now, and that shows that she's got herself a 2-point lead. Now Natalia is in position to take a bigger lead, and she does. Now it's 4 points. And this starts becoming very difficult to overcome. With only 4 arrows left in the round, you want 10s, not 8s like that one. And there is a 10, 10, 10, showing why Natalia Valeva's 7-time world champion, counting her indoor world championships. She has a lot of grace under pressure. Now, to be sure, so does Alison Williamson. So what could happen in this last end is still anyone's guess. 6-point separation between Alison and Natalia in favor of Natalia. Not good enough. Alison needs 10s right now. She needs to keep the pressure up, and she needs to try to close the gap. And Natalia cruising along, 10 points again. Alison going through the motions, visualizing what she wants to do. 6 seconds left on the clock, and she just barely misses the 10 ring on that shot. Natalia holding just a fraction of a second longer than those of us who've watched her for a long time know that she normally shoots the shot in, and it sent the shot just a little bit wide. Single shot left. We're looking at a 7-point advantage for Natalia Valeva. All she needs to do is catch that 2 ring, and that's good enough. Natalia Valeva, big win, 106 points on the board. In the gold medal final for the recurve men, it was a new appearance from a new shooter, this guy, Crispin Duenas, the Canadian archer who made his appearance at the Olympic Games in Beijing. He's been working hard for several years and has now a world ranking of 48th. Crispin, a very personable and hard-working shooter, a university student as well. 20-year-old Romain Giroux is ranked 5th in the world. He has 1 World Cup Finals championship under his belt. That was the 2nd World Cup stage of last year in Croatia. Here he opens with a 9 against Crispin. Crispin opening with 9 points as well. Now here's the truth about Romain Giroux. He is a tremendous shooter, and he's also pretty much on the edge of disaster at all times. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that Romain is just at the edge of control over his shot. And every once in a while, you'll see him make a fairly substantial mistake, sometimes even missing the target. And that is about the only thing that really Crispin can look forward to if he keeps shooting 2 points behind per end. And you heard him shoot a good shot with a 10. You also have our microphone on the shooters. I can tell you this, personality-wise, you're likely to hear more out of Crispin than out of Romain. Behind Crispin is his teammate, Hugh McDonald. The stoic Romain Giroux just getting it done with a 1-point lead after 5 arrows. Whereas Crispin tends to talk to the arrow all the way down to the target. Part of what I mentioned about edge of disaster is the fact that Romain Giroux is holding that string as far out on his fingers as he can possibly get. It makes for a lot of tension in the fingers. It also means that once that shot starts to cut loose, he's got almost no control over it, so it needs to be how he wants it to be in order for it to go in the middle. It's working for him so far. That's a liner, probably a 10 on that shot, and with 7 arrows complete, it's still a 2-point lead. Now this was not what Crispin Duenas wanted to do. Big smile from him, but inside I'm sure he's not really happy with that. Now, did you see the follow-through from Romain? That's what I was talking about with control. That shot, what you didn't see off screen, was that Romain had a big ginch, a big sort of spasm before he shot that arrow. He recovered and shot it with only 1 second left. So very fortunate that he didn't have a big disaster on that one shot. Now he's well ahead. He's 6 points up with 3 arrows to go.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a 9 for Crispin. He knew it was a good shot. Now Romain just needs a 4 to lead, and there it is, 9 points for him. 6-point lead for Romain Giroux, but Crispin Duenas, too little too late. Romain with a 9.
Yeah.
Crispin finishing with a creditable 28 for 107 points, a pretty good score considering the conditions. Romain Giroux's last shot, and there it is. Romain Giroux taking his 2nd World Cup final victory, 112 points, and the winner. Early days yet in the 2009 season, but here are how the World Cup rankings shape up. Brittany Laurenti ranked number 1 for the compound women, followed by Jamie Van Atta, Diane Watson, and Olga Bosch of Venezuela. In the compound men, Brayton Gallantine's win gives him 25 points. Patrizio Hoffer second, Peter Elzinga, followed by Rigoberto Hernandez, but some big guns down below, Martin Damsbo, Rio Wild among them. Natalia Valeva, 7-time world champion, is number 1 on the ladder, 25 points for her. Alison Williamson second, Dola Banerjee, the champion of '06, and Rina Kumari, her teammate, following. Romain Giroul, who picked up points but then lost momentum last year, may be off to a great start this year, but Crispin Duenas is also up to a good start, Simon Terry and Marco Galeazzo right behind. So that's it from Santo Domingo and the first round of the 2009 Archery World Cup. And don't forget to catch up with all of the action from World Cup on archery.tv on the internet. And don't forget to join us for the second round taking place in Porridge, Croatia. Until then, thanks for watching. Good shooting from all of us.